couple members of the speech team. We are also going to have an honorary guest. I don't know his name. And, of course, you know, this is Aggie Week, so stay tuned for a great show. And now, here's Johnny.
Thank you, Mr. Fishbach. And how are you tonight?
Very, very good.
Good. Jim, how are you doing tonight? Why does this cord get heavier every week? They add another thing on here. It seems like every week. I don't know exactly what the deal is. Anyway, we have a real good show tonight, and the band sounds pretty good tonight. Mm-hmm. As I recall, last week, didn't you play, like, Name That Tune or something?
Yes. We'd like to play our two notes for you this week.
Two notes, yeah.
Tony?
As if anybody hasn't guessed already what the song is. Oh, yeah, Tony, Mr. Tune Master.
One.
What's the hint?
1, 3.
Now, has anybody guessed that song yet? What, it's a popular song, right?
Yeah.
We know that it's a popular. That's about all we know, right?
Yeah.
So people keep guessing. Are you guys aren't going to be featured tonight, right? No. Because we have so much other stuff. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the infamous Mr. Egemeyer is here tonight, so everybody's kind of extra excited.
Can we write our own songs for that?
So, well, I guess you'll be playing during the show, and guests come in and out and stuff, so we'll hear you then. Thanks, Jim. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good, John.
How's your week been?
Pretty good, John.
How was your weekend in particular?
Pretty good, John.
So, how was the Eureka Bowling Alley, Tom?
Never been there in my life, John.
I never had either.
I could be watching the show, John. I've never been there.
Oh, you weren't at the Eureka Bowling. Why did I say that? Eureka Bowling Alley?
You're thinking of
yeah.
the Washington Bowl.
Exactly right. Plaza Lanes, where I always go. It's a fun place. What else has happened to you in the week? Nothing. Yeah. Did you read the newspaper today?
I read various parts of it.
Well, I just happened to pick it up, and there was an article of interest in here. I thought for Mr. Woodward, and I'm not gonna read the article or anything, but I just thought he might be interested. The title, this is front page stuff. It's called Gourmet Coffee. It's the taste that counts. It's right here on the cover of our very own Reporter. So, did you read that yet? He read it. He's excited.
I read that.
And he's got his coffee cup. What, you read only part of it? What, he's saving some for later? Well, he's had some of it already. So if we have a lull during the show, we'll just pull that out and start reading that. As we mentioned just a little while ago, Mr. Egemeyer is going to be here tonight, and now we've had for 2 weeks running now our official Aggie countdown calendar, and so our calendar girl is now going to come back out and take off the 1 week.
Take it on! Woo!
Yeah!
Isn't she talented? I think after last week's show, she was approached by several major studios that want her for contracts. So yes, Mr. Egemeyer, we're going to save him for last because, you know, it's kind of like save the best for last.
No way we can
but we have a lot of good things though tonight, not necessarily the best. Have you? I have some college books here. Have you been looking at colleges at all?
Yes.
I mean, now you're only a junior, so you don't have to decide right away. Have you decided where you're going to go by any chance?
I haven't narrowed down a few choices.
What are they?
Either Southern or ITT.
ITT?
Chicago.
In Chicago, huh? Yeah, well, have you started getting lots of college mail yet?
Quite a bit.
From lots of junk mail? Well, we have some catalogs here from legitimate colleges. This is from the University of Illinois. We have one here from
Are you going there?
Illinois State University. Huh?
Have you decided?
Yeah, I'm going to go, I think.
All right.
So, and then there's one from Illinois State, but I got one in the mail just the other day, and I was really surprised because I didn't know that this college existed, and you probably didn't either. But I've got their brochure right here. It's their full-fledged catalog, and it's called the University of Sunnyland. Now you probably now I didn't know this place existed, but this came in the mail. Well, I think it's great to have a university in your town. Anyway, right on the inside cover, there's some facts about the University of Sunnyland. They have there's an enrollment of 28 now, I think. 13 men. I won't read the rest.
Academic.
It was founded in 1985. Just started up. its annual budget of $53. It has a student-faculty ratio of 1 to 28, so that means there's only one teacher in the whole place. Academic atmosphere, no. You see, their most famous graduate's name is Bilbo, and he is the owner of Eureka Bowling Alley. That's an insight. That's one of those jokes you do just for yourself. A mean ACT of 6.8, but rising. The school... I can't read the next one. Anyway, no. This is from the University of Sunnyland, and guess what? When I got this brochure, I called their free 800 number. Don't say that out loud. I called the free... no, it's not that bad. I called the free 800 number, and I talked to the president. These are the classes they offer. I personally talked with the president of the University of Sunnyland, and guess what? He said, I'm not doing anything Wednesday night, and I can come to the show. And so we now present, ladies and gentlemen, from the president of the University of Sunnyland, Dr. Najib Trashbin. Dr. Najib, how are you?
Very fine, John.
How are you doing tonight?
Fine.
Now, what are you doing with this calculator?
It's mathematical complications. You probably wouldn't understand that, John.
Now, your first name is Najib. That's kind of a different name. In fact, one of the people on the staff's middle name is Najib. Where were you born?
Idaho.
Idaho, and they named you Najib.
Idaho. Very common name.
Now you're a doctor. So what are you a doctor of?
Biodegradable sanitational systems, John.
Well, doctor. Now, all of us here aren't quite as educated as you. In layman's terms, what does that mean?
Basically, John, it means trash.
Well, now, where did you go to college to get a degree in trash?
John, actually, I didn't go to college. In a way, college came to me.
What, you mean that you were so intelligent that great professors came to you to teach you things?
John, have you ever heard of mail-in correspondence?
But not. You don't mean to tell me you went to college through mail-in correspondence?
Yes.
What, you dialed that 800 number, right? Is that what happened?
You got it. I can give anybody out here the number. It is a great college. It's very impressive credentials.
Now, I don't think many people have heard of the University of Sunnyland. I hadn't heard of it. When did it start?
Very recently, fairly recently at least.
You mean like 10, 20 years ago?
I don't think numbers are important, John.
Well, now, doctor, can't just be frank with us. When did the university start?
Okay, about a week ago.
So I'm sure it's already earned a fine reputation. Now, where in Sunnyland is this university located at?
Across from the bank.
Across from Sunnyland Bank?
Yes.
Well, now, isn't there a gas station across from Sunnyland Bank?
Presently there is. We've taken over the restroom facility. We've got future plans to expand into the garage area and the maintenance area.
Okay, so it looks like you're expanding. Now, Now, you went on to start a university. That's kind of a big challenge. What motivated you to start this university?
Well, John, in basic terms, it was to better educate the uneducated people of America today. I think that's very important. It's
so you wanted
to reach
to educate the what the motto right here says to educate the uneducatable.
Yes.
Is that so you now?
Stand behind it.
Now I've got like the University of Illinois right here. You take the people that the U of I won't take because they say we don't want to mess with you. So you try and
I try to
you feel everybody has got some.
Try to make something out of them.
Well, what kind of majors
like
do you
football.
offer? What kind of majors do you offer if someone wants to go to the university?
Of course, there's the biodegradable sanitational systems.
That's what you majored in, right?
Yes.
So do you personally teach those classes yourself?
I am the one teacher in the 1 to 28
That's right, yeah, there's
ratio.
a faculty ratio of 1:28, I forgot.
And of course, there's other courses such as PE, affectionately known as physical education.
So you have PE majors offered there?
Yes.
Well, now, do you think great coaches of the future will be turned out from the U of S?
It's a hope, John. It really is.
Well, do you have lots of facilities? I don't recall seeing any. Do you have like a track, for instance,
Well,
around the
we
university?
recently negotiated with Sunnyland Plaza, and I've gone out and drawn a chalk track in the parking lot. It's a nice track. Kind of hectic when it's...
Oh, but what happens when it rains, though?
Well, there's a lot of puddles when it rains. Not much we can do about that, though.
Now, what exactly? What kind of grades? What kind of entrance requirements are there to get into this great university?
Can you breathe?
Well, no. Now, surely, Doctor, you're not saying that any living person can go to this university.
Yes. Bingo, you've got it.
So you really will take anybody. Now, what about the ACT? That's a college a testing agency. Now, everybody has, almost every college, all these colleges require the ACT. Doesn't the U of S?
Well, John, basically, we're more interested in the SRA, 6th grade level reading materials.
So, you mean the SRA I did back in grade school is what you test these people at?
It's very important that we learn the basic essentials of life, John. And I think we can learn them through SRA.
So if they're you said the 6th grade level, they can enter that great university?
Yes.
Well, Doctor, do you have any other? Do you want to give the number or anything for where people can call?
John, I don't know. I don't know if my agent will let me do that.
Well, I can give it. I think it's what 1-800-745-3434.
309, of course.
We got to get an 800 number, Professor.
Well, John, you know, I think it's real important since we are doing the SRA. That's how we got such a big number, like 1 to 28 ratio. I think that's important that we can accept people like that.
Do you ever think about hiring new people, like starting maybe an AV department?
Oh, that is the goal of mine. Yes, I intend to pursue that for the rest of my life until I can.
No, and we probably have the ultimate AV director right out here, Mr.
I don't know if he's passed the SRA. I think I can let it slip by this time. I'll turn the other cheek.
You'll turn the other cheek. What is this for? I noticed this. Obviously, the cap.
That reminds me, John. I've got a gift for you out back.
You've got a gift for me?
Well, actually, let's see. Can I talk to you, Jimbo, over there? Would you like to get the gift out of my coat pocket, please?
Now, Doctor, you brought a gift. What, here for me?
Actually, it isn't a gift. It's something that all of our graduates receive.
You just want your coat, Professor?
No, that's okay.
They're going through all your pockets. I hope you don't have anything.
Big lump in the pocket. Oh. Here we go. Throw it. We can't afford too many hats, John. So basically, what our graduates will do will wear these hats, and of course they can keep them when they're done graduating. John, can we try it on, John?
Yeah.
A little music over there, Stan. Can we do that? Well, John,
Professor, it's been really super talk. Will you come back sometime and fill us in when the U of S grows a little bit? Thanks for coming, Professor.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Dr. Najib Trashbin from the from the University of Sunnyland, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to look into that college. You're not going to Southern anymore, are you? You got to think about it. Anyway, first up tonight, Mr. Egemeyer is waiting in the wings patiently. But first up tonight, we have a couple of members from speech team here tonight, and I'm a proud member of that team. So we're going to talk to them about the season, which is over, and they had a really good season this year. So would you please proudly welcome Becky, Hoyt, and Chris Kale. How are you two girls doing tonight?
Fine.
Now this is all this is the second time for both of you.
Right.
You've both been on the show before, and did you take that crash course that Mrs. Knapp's took out at ICC on how to be on this show and not answer anything you don't want to?
Yeah.
No, I won't. I won't. I'm not going to ask you anything like that. Now, of course, you're both here from speech team, and I was on speech team this year. It was pretty fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why did you both have so much fun on speech team? Chris?
Because we did so well. No, I don't know.
Well, we did do a lot better this year.
We just liked meeting the people and stuff. Yeah.
How many people were on speech team this year?
I don't know that either.
Well, there were around number 20 maybe?
Yeah.
It was a lot more than than ever in the past, right?
Right.
Why do you think there were so many more people on the team this year?
I don't know. Maybe it was because it was talked up or something, I guess. I don't
It's
know.
talked up. Well, do you think Mr. Hott maybe had anything to do? He's the sponsor of the team,
he
right?
encourages people and yeah.
Now, you both like Mr. Hott, don't you?
Yeah.
How come?
Because he's really sweet.
He cares about people.
He takes that extra interest type of thing. What different? Why don't you tell what some of the categories of speech are? Probably a lot of people watching, probably aren't very familiar with some of the different things you can do. Like you participated in what, 2, 3 different events, Chris? What were
I've
they?
done 4.
4. What were they?
Orator, declamation, original oratory, humorous duet acting with Becky, and original comedy.
Okay, so you two did one together. Now, with what do you do in that? What kind of speech is it?
HCA?
Yeah.
It's where, you mean what do we do?
Yeah, well, I don't mean specifically,
It's
but
just-
what do you do in the category?
You just take
Two
a
people.
script, yeah, and
So you do any kind of script? Is it comedy?
Yeah, comedy.
Humorous.
And you can only use like 2 chairs and a table, it's just a little limited, and you have to just make, all your
So you have to
props up
pretend.
yourself, yeah.
So you have to pretend, and you guys did a driving thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you did an original comedy,
you're
right? Which is just where one person gets up and does.
Makes it
Can
up,
you use any props?
No.
So it's just everything you say. Now you went real far with that. You went. No, you did better than anybody else on the team did. You went to sectionals, right? With that, you just went last week and you got 4th
Right.
place, right? Which was very well because nobody else from our. Thanks, Jim. Nobody. He tries to steal every interview. Oh no. No, because nobody else from our team went to sectionals. You were the only one, the
Right.
shining star of our team. You went on to get 4th place. Now you didn't do this this OC all season though. You just wrote it.
Right.
What, about 3-4 weeks ago?
Right. That was only the 3rd time I
Why don't you
did it.
tell about what you did it on?
Well, in the category original oratory, I just simply imitated the way some people talk and imitated them, the way people get nervous and how they forget their speech and etc.
So it was just a takeoff, yeah, and of course I saw it,
Right.
and you did very well. Becky, what categories did you participate in?
Humorous interpretation and HCA.
What's humorous interpretation?
It's where, just one person gets up and they, they act as like maybe 4 or 5 different people, and it's just funny.
So you have to do different characters?
Yeah, you do.
So isn't that difficult to do to try and get it, remember?
You're talking to yourself as well.
Now, do you write that yourself?
No, it's just somebody else has written it, like from a player or the book.
So you have to memorize it and all that. Now, what are some of the other categories on the speech team? Maybe you didn't participate in, but
Well, there's dramatic interpretation and dramatic duet acting and extemporaneous speaking, which you did.
yeah, that was fun.
And there's impromptu and after
After
dinner.
work.
Yeah, after dinner speaking.
Do you have to have dinner first?
No.
Thanks. They're coming out of the woodwork now. And what other categories are there? Did you run through about all?
I think
Well, there's
I
something.
probably did.
Well, you didn't mention radio. That was probably one of our
yeah,
most
pardon
popular, wasn't it? Everybody was
Oh, yeah.
fighting to get in radio.
And prose and verse and poetry and,
Plus, there were all kinds you forgot.
pardon me.
Why do you think we don't have anybody here from that did? None of us did radio, but
Becky did.
did you
I
do
did
radio?
Yeah.
one time. at
Well,
ISU.
why does everybody want to do radio?
Because I think it's easy because you don't have to memorize anything and you don't have to get up and act, you just read. But it's really hard, you have to, it's hard to do.
You have preparation time.
Because you have
You have a time limit of 5 minutes and you can't really go over or under.
it's 5 seconds either way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have much time. Do you get to have a stopwatch in front of you?
Mhm.
Right.
And you have to make up your own commercial or, just use one from somewhere.
What was your commercial about?
It's Miss Chocolate.
Well, that sounds exciting. That sounds exciting. Now, as I mentioned, the speech team did do really well this year.
Yeah, we only had one overnighter. And
We talked about that last time. We won't.
that was at ISU.
A story?
Yeah.
One you'd like to tell?
Don't we go ahead and start it? It's clean.
We just happened to hear some rumors that some girls from 501
Called John
We're calling
and John
John.
Roman.
Wait a minute. No, forget this story. No, you didn't tell me you're going to bring up the girls in 501. And their pajama party. We're not going to talk about that. No,
That
we're.
was really special.
It was the girl down the hall made a few phone calls herself. Remember how fast Wilman was?
Time how quick it took you to get out to the elevator. About 5 seconds flat.
Now this isn't embarrassed John Berkey night, is it?
Yeah.
I'll just be packing up and leaving now. Woody loves this. No, we had fun on the overnight trip, and we did pretty good there. What about the team? What about team members that did really well?
Robin Jackson always turned.
Now her and John Willman did
well,
a DDA, and they placed almost every time, didn't they?
Yeah.
To get finals.
Third, at least third.
And wasn't it? And they didn't get to participate, isn't it?
Right.
Because of she was going
In
to
a
a wedding.
Yeah, I'm sure they.
So that was really disappointing because they were probably the best, probably the best chances of anybody
Yeah,
on
they
the
had a
team.
lot of people there that had won. So.
Yeah, and she had to go to a wedding, and it was her sister, right?
Yeah, she was in.
So when your sister's getting married, you can't very well say you got something else to do.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, you're both seniors.
Yeah, that's what's sad
All
about
three
it.
of us are seniors. Yeah, it's sad.
'Cause,
No, we won't be back next year to participate on the.
But Becky and I are going to judge next year.
We're gonna start screening people who get in this show.
We're gonna be assistant coaches.
We're going to be coaches next year.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Gonna kind of help Conrad, kind of
Yeah.
through the
Kinda,
turbulent
yeah.
times.
We're gonna have maybe, I think they're having a freshman tournament or something.
Eighth grade.
8th grade, and we're gonna judge it.
What about in college? Are either one of you going to join a college speech team?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I might major in communications or something, but
Where are you going to college, Chris?
I'm just going to go to ICC and then go on to University of Dubuque.
Chris. Now,
Well, I've been
rethink. Look,
seriously considering
just
that.
spend some time with those facts.
Okay.
just spend some time with those facts, and you'll reconsider.
When should I get back to yours?
Dr. Najib really wants you. Becky, where do you plan on going?
ICC, I'm gonna be in the dental hygiene program. So.
Dental hygiene. So you're going to be one of those people that runs around saying, floss, floss.
Yeah.
What about after ICC? Are you going to go on to more college?
It's only a 2-year program. And then
So you can be a
graduate
dental
and go-
hygienist
yeah,
after 2 years? What about you, Chris? You said you might major in communications.
Well, I'm going to get a degree in special education.
In special education?
Mhm.
So you'll go on then to teach special education, right?
Most likely.
That would be the natural course things. Well, I really want to thank you two for coming out on this snowy evening. So thanks for being here, and
Okay.
Thank you.
we had fun on the team this year. Okay, everybody, please. We need. No. We need complete silence in the studio. Can we just all reflect for a moment? Channel 5, what does it mean to you? No. A couple weeks ago, you saw this book, right? And I read some excerpts from this book called Aggie, an autobiography. And of course, it was all a joke about the director of Channel 5, Mr. Egemeyer. We made up some things, and I talked to him afterwards, and he thought, we thought it might be a good idea if he came on, kind of notice to show us really what Channel 5 was like. And we had our countdown calendar. It's just, this is what life's all about, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, and we have a special guest. I think he's bringing a student on with him that helps him down there, and including his new wife that we heard about. So would you please welcome Mr. Egemeyer and company.
Here we go.
Wait, we're missing a chair.
Okay.
No,
Well, I thought he's gonna stand up for a while, and then she's gonna go back to the audience. So this.
okay, all right, we're just. Look,
Come on, he's getting mean and paid. He can
Yeah.
get back.
Look, he gets under lights, and immediately he knows what's going on. So, Mr. Egemeyer, this is your new wife.
Oh yes, this is my wife Sharon Egemeyer. We were married October 6th. We had a lovely 2 weeks in Las Vegas. We came back. We did not. We came back with half of the money we took out there with the gamble on. And so it was really...
Not bad, huh?
I would urge anybody who wants to go out there, it's a great place to go. And the shows are great, especially some of the showgirls I saw, of course. You know.
No, wait. No.
I'll tell you about that later. But,
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, tell me,
the truth's out.
without, getting too specific, how's
Yeah.
married life been so far?
Oh,
Do you like
it's
it?
fine. Oh, yeah,
Is
I
it what
like
you
it.
thought it would be? You've been
Yeah,
married 3 months
absolutely.
now.
Well, about 4 months. Yeah.
4 months?
Yeah.
So has it been
and-
what you thought it'd be?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's been fine.
What do I feel like I'm hosting the newlywed game? I don't know. And our next, we're not giving away a free China set or anything with your
No,
appearance.
but you guys mentioned in my autobiography there, I of
course, yeah.
put the record straight on some of those facts, you know.
Okay.
For instance, the first entry here, September 18th, 1959. Well, I wasn't even born yet, so it didn't...
Okay.
So, we got that back wrong. So, that was just one thing I wanted to get the record straight on. So,
And I think another thing you want to get the record straight is Mr. Hatfield came out that same night and impersonated you.
that was, on a scale of 1 to 10, I get about a 4. If you had a mustache, it might have been a 10.
Oh, with a mustache, yeah. I couldn't grow it back. The only boy in the 7th grade with a mustache, remember that, friends, was in the Aggie book.
Actually, it was about 9th grade, I think. So.
Well, Mrs. Egemeyer, what's it like being married to Mr. Egemeyer? Remember the book. Now it says, "The rags to riches story of a young man with a dream. It's the story of a great American. It's the story of Dennis Egemeyer, the man who at 24, is a legend."
No, he's 25 now.
I'm 25 now, yeah. My
Okay.
birthday was last Friday.
Oh, so if we Can we have a few bars of happy birthday, Jim?
No,
Or would that be
that's not-
impossible?
Yeah, I don't know if they would know that tune or not.
They don't know it.
They
No,
don't
Jim
know
knows it.
Take a couple years of practice.
I understood the mystery tune at the beginning of the show better than that. I don't know. So is this the man you know, the man that we look up to?
Well,
Is this what he's like at home?
no, he's not like this at home.
That's probably because I'm hardly ever home between
Right,
my
sometimes
schedule.
he's not home very often.
Because
And
I'm
we have,
either...
it's kind of like late night visits or something like that.
Mr. Regenmeyer, the late night visit. Yes.
Right. I figure, because I have 2 jobs. I also work over at UA Cable Systems, which used to be GE Cablevision, of course, and also, of course, I'm working with the East Peoria Cable TV Corporation, and I'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So, do you like married life from your standpoint?
Yes,
And do you plan on raising a family?
eventually.
Eventually, if money gets around, we'll definitely plan on it. It's something we'll look
So you want to go on in your career maybe a little bit before you... Where do you
Yeah.
two live in a house? Or
We have an apartment in Pekin.
in Pekin?
Yeah.
So you live kind of far away from...
Yeah.
How come you chose Pekin? Have you always lived there? Or?
Yeah, we always lived in Pekin.
Are both of
Yes,
you?
first.
Have
I
you
lived
both
there
of you?
before we got married.
Yeah, so I just moved into her apartment.
That's what they all say.
I also had to adopt a dog.
Oh.
I kind of made her mad the first couple of nights after we were married because I took up her sleeping place on the bed, and then a couple days later when I moved in with my furniture, I also took up her sleeping place on the floor. So she's kind of,
Doggy wasn't real too happy
Right.
about all that, huh? So you live in an apartment. How do you think sometime you might, buy a house when you,
definitely,
certainly
yeah.
when you get the money,
Yeah.
start to raise your family?
Oh yeah.
Now, how long have you two known each other?
Well, if you want to get technical, you would say about 19 years, because her family and my family went to the same church all the time, but it wasn't until about in June of '83 that we happened to meet each other at a singles dance, and we just kind of hit it off from there.
Now, you heard of singles dance?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I can't imagine our Mr. Egemeyer at a singles.
It was a singles, you see it advertised all the time in the Peoria paper, at the Holiday Inn, they have a single, by the Peoria Singles Club, and we just, I just happened to go there one night, and she happened to be there because the week before, she attended her high school reunion, and she saw the sign for that, and she decided she'd go try it, and so she did.
Did you both go to Pekin High School?
Yeah.
So did you know each other then?
No,
You said you really never knew each other, even though you went to the same church.
Right, right.
Did you know you knew who each other were, kind of?
More than
Yeah, I was the same age as her sister, so
So you're younger than...
she's older than me.
Oh! Well, that's nice.
No comment from there on.
No, that's fine. I just, that's That's kind of nice. So you're going to leave us now, and so
Right.
so your assistant here can sit down. Thank you for coming out here, Mrs. Eggman. This is
John Prozo.
Hi, John. How you doing?
All right.
It's a nice name. Anyway, so now we're going to get into the technical part of Channel 5 because Mrs. Eggmeyer doesn't want to sit here and talk cameras and cables. I know she doesn't.
That's because I do it all the time at home.
You do, huh? Did you go home? You go home and tell
Yeah,
what's happening?
yeah, but she also helps me out. She helped last year. We did the Centennial. She helped us out on some things. We had our own booth down at the Centennial Festival. Our own booth down and set up, and that's where we made our base of operations for all of our camera crews that we went out and videotaped the various activities going on during the Centennial last June. So that was a big event, and that was something to get the people more aware of our existence and stuff like that.
Well, why don't we kind of start out by, why don't you kind of explain what Channel 5 really is all about? What is it supposed to be, and what is it?
Well, Channel 5 is considered a public access TV station. And what public access, and that's what I'm going to get into first, public access is something that used to be required by the FCC. And what it is when all the cable companies and all the cables started springing up around the country, the people screamed, or rather squeaked, as this one book puts it, for public access, their own local channels. Public access is really a way of communicating, of some people or organizations communicating with the other people, just like the way I'm communicating with you now by talking. People communicate by newspapers, telephone. Well, public access is one means of doing it by television, and it's a way. And a lot of organizations or events or stuff like that normally can't be done on local or network broadcast television can be done through public access. One of the things I read in this book was that in London they have they actually stick a little camera and a little recorder, I think, or a microphone into a phone booth. And these people can come in off the street and turn it on, switch it on, they'll be on the air, they can talk for 5 minutes about anything. And I mean anything.
So they'll be on the air then?
They would be on the air, it can be obscene, it can be anything, they would do it.
Check into that, Mike. We gotta...
In London, now this book I read was before the FCC dropped the regulations on cable and as well as FCC. The FCC considered public access a failure. One reason, because of one fact, cable companies consider public access a waste of money. Because they pull out this money, and a lot of people, they don't think there'll be any demand for it. But at the same time, there won't be any demand for it if you don't promote it or advertise it. And it's my opinion that was something that wasn't really done in this particular area.
So you have to make it popular, and then if you do that,
yes, you have to advertise it and let people know what it's all about and what the people have to do. Now, technically, my role in Channel 5, or as a public access coordinator or director, my role, all I'm supposed to do is to set up training classes and centers for people to come in off the streets as a hobby, or organizations of people to come in, learn how to run a camera, learn how to run a VTR, a tape machine, learn how to edit, learn how to produce, or learn how to be on camera. Let them go through these classes. And then after they learn all this information and they practice and they get pretty good at it, then they're supposed to come to the Access Center, which would normally be, in our case would be our studio, check out a porta pack like you would a library book, and go out and produce a program, bring it back, edit it, and then they give it to me and I put it on the air.
Now, do a lot of people do this? I think, now most of the program we see, isn't it produced by the high school? I mean, not by the high school, but by high school students, both at East Peoria and Washington.
Well,
but do you get people that really do come in off the street and do that?
Well, not very many, but it seems like it's starting to go in that right direction. Well, I'll take for instance WCHS Today is a perfect example of public access. Mr. Woodward.
Perfect describes us.
Yes.
That's all you have to say.
It is because it's Washington High School being interested in communicating with people and entertaining as well, and Mr. Woodward, Dave Woodward, donates his time. You students donate your time.
We call him Woody. You can too.
Hi Woody. But he donates his time. The high school went and bought their own equipment. And you guys produce your tapes and give it to me. I put them on. So that's how it works. You guys learn how to run the equipment. You learn how to be on camera talent. And in my opinion, you're very good.
Thank you.
And I'm wish you had a couple more years here, but I guess you won't flunk, so.
No, Mr. Woodward saw to it that I wouldn't flunk. He's going through all my grades. He didn't flunk anything, did he? If he did, we can change him.
But in our case, in other parts of the country, something like that is very popular in the area. I went to a conference last April up in Chicago. It was designed for anybody who was involved with public access and local programming on cable networks. And they had one seminar where one person got up and said that they started, the cable company just came to town and they were hooking up, and of course, if a cable company has to provide public access, and if it said so in their charter, then they have to do it. They may do it grudgingly, but they'll do it. And then if there's a demand for it, then of course that's more of a.
So it makes it worthwhile to them, though, people then
because it's a way of people feeding back to the cable company on how they're doing. It's a way, it's a way of people expressing themselves. Okay. Now, one of the original rules of public access is that if a cable company wasn't able to provide public access channel, that the cable company themselves have to provide 5 minutes of free time to any group or organization to come on and state his views. After that, that group or organization or person, individual, would be charged, depending on the rates and stuff. Okay. Now, a lot of cable systems around the country go ahead and turn over a public access channel to private individual groups or nonprofit groups, as it is in our case. We're a nonprofit corporation. And I was getting back to the Chicago conference. This one guy got up and said that the cable company had been there for like 2 or 3 years. So I think the public access channel had been there for 3 years, and they served 16 northwest suburbs in Chicago. And because of the population, of the area that they were serving, they had to build 5 access centers. I think they built 4, and they were getting ready to build a 5th one. Studios,
complete with
everything, complete state-of-the-art equipment. And in that 2 years, and as of last April, they had 1,000 people on a waiting list, waiting for 2 years to get in, to learn how to get into these classes and seminars. 1,000 people waiting to get in. And so that's the kind of thing, it may also depend on the part of the country you're in. If a lot of people kind of hesitate to be, because they think television is really technical. Thank you. It's too technical for anybody with, say like a blue-collar worker. Even a blue-collar worker can come in and learn how to run a camera.
Sure. Yeah, it's just something you have to.
Anybody.
Maybe they're scared by equipment at first, but it's something you can learn how to do.
That's exactly right. And
how long has community access been going on here at on this side of the river? How long has Channel 5 been operating?
As far as Channel 5 in East Peoria is concerned, it's been going on since at least 1976. Now,
really?
Yeah, because I hunted up the old logs from way back then, and actually it used to be on Channel 2. It used to be on Channel 2 when they first started out, and they started out with black and white equipment, and that's what happened. That's what GE did. They saw they had to provide public access channels, so they poured a lot of money into black and white equipment.
And you said at that time what the government required that they do that?
Let's see. Yeah, back then they did. I think in 1977 or 78 they dropped the rules on public access. I can't remember for exactly when it was, but when they dropped the rules, of course, in Peoria used to have their own access group, a private group, but they sort of kind of faded away because a lot of times what would happen, people would come and get the equipment and they bring it back in pieces, and so GE kind of frowned on it. Yeah. But at the same time, they went on ahead and produced their own local programs, which they put on Channel 6, which is now occupied by the USA Network. And so there's, we still get things in the mail over there, addressed to Channel 6, sports director or news director of Channel 6, because we used to have local programming on Channel 6. They used to, have programming on that, live programming, about 4 or 5 years ago. And now it's filled up with, USA Network. So now the only channel that they can put any kind of local programming on is Channel 5, the AP News and Weather Channel.
So you just cut into that, and I guess Mike the other day called you because he couldn't get the weather forecast. So he called you up and said, "Mr. Aguilar, what's the weather forecast?" Right. Well, you said tropical rains, right?
Right. Yeah. No, we're all wishing for that, but no, there are you can't please everybody all the time.
But that's the best station to break into.
Yeah, it's the only station. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell whether or not if GE or UA will ever go into
designate a separate
channel just for us alone, so that we can interrupt at any time, because you know, East Peoria Public Access used to have their own channel all to themselves on Channel 2.
Yeah, before it got all filled up.
And then in 1980, GE wanted to put CNN on, so they told them, okay, we'll move you to Channel 5. You can interrupt at any time. Well, you know, technically we can't interrupt at any time, but there are times, you know, UA Cable Systems has the final say over what goes over Channel 5, and so if they want to put on like a Disney Channel preview or Premium Channel preview, and they want to put it on a day that we normally have programming, we have to delete our programming. So, you know, whether, you know, so, but they usually let us know enough in advance, and plus, you know, if they want to do it, they have to do it, you know, to the approval of the Board of Directors, so.
Yeah.
But
how long have you been working at Channel 5?
Since March of '83.
Okay, so that's about 2 years then,
Almost
just
2
coming
years,
up
yeah.
on 2 years.
Coming up on,
Was the station pretty well going when you got there?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty well going. Like I said, you know, the programs from Washington were going on. They had a lot of programming geared around the high school. But one thing you have to remember, the guy who ran it before me, Jim Scrine, he was also the AV director down there, just like Mr. Woodward, and also he was the auditorium manager, and so that took a lot out of his time. But, you know, he had the students involved, and they got quite a bit of programming on. But, you know, he had done it for 7 years, and so I guess he was just, you know, he just didn't want to do it anymore. And so the board of directors, you know, sent word over to GE saying, you know, if there's anybody else interested in doing it, you know, let them know. And I got recommended, and I put together a plan, and they accepted it. So that's basically, so we were.
Let's talk to your assistant here. He came all the way over here. He's been sitting there. We haven't been, you're not letting him talk. Now you help Dennis here.
Yeah, I run camera, and he's getting ready to show me how to edit and get into producing.
Okay, are you paid at all, or are you just do it all?
It's strictly voluntary.
Are you still in high school?
Yeah.
All right, so you go to East Peoria High School?
Right.
How come you started getting involved in the TV
well,
stuff?
During my about midterm freshman year, they advertised over the PA system about volunteering for Channel 5 and learn how to become a cameraman, director, producer, and edit, and all this other stuff. So I checked into it along with a couple friends, and we got involved, and we started.
Because you've got how many students work down there? What, about 5?
Well, no,
or even more, maybe?
Technically I've got 13 now, but, you know, they're about, you know, out of that 13, there are about 7 or 8 active.
Now,
ones
John,
that are active.
Steve Blount's paid, right? And
Yeah,
isn't
he's
he
a
the
paid
only
employee,
one that's a
so-
paid employee?
Yeah,
So all the rest are volunteers?
All the rest are volunteers, yes.
So do you think you've learned a lot down there, John?
It's good training and everything, because if you go out in the world, it's all computers, and you know TV's not ever going to go out of style or anything, so you're still going to need cameramen.
Yeah, so it's always something they're going to need. So you've been there working on it for 2 years. Have you ever done any on-camera work? You say you run camera, but do you ever do anything in front of the camera?
We, once in a while, will go out down to the cafeteria. Like this week, we have a grader.
You don't show food on camera, do you? At least here you wouldn't want to show our food.
Well, I've got a cafeteria.
During the lunch hours, shouldn't have said that, but during the lunch hours, we got grader Wild Week. Once in a while, they call it Wild Week. Well, this week we've had a Ghostbusters Day, which was today, and people dressed up as ghosts in black and white.
So you're down there with your camera, and
me and Mark Laswell were down there videotaping some down there this afternoon.
how much time do you spend working for Channel 5? Like in a week? I mean, do you work? You know, I've been down there before, and you've been there. You know, working in the evenings, putting on programs and stuff. How many hours would you say you spend a week doing that?
Probably right about 7 or so a week. Down there running programming on the air and videotaping in the studio and out of the studio.
Do you hope to go on in television? You said, you know they'll need them, but is that what you want to get into?
Sort of. So I wanted to get into camera business, television.
Yeah.
And also wanted to get into like a, what do you want to call it, business, small business for myself.
Yeah, but you could, you know,
Yeah.
with television, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you'll be able to use it in whatever you get into. Do you know where you want to go to college yet? Still a year off, but
University of Sunnyland.
yeah. You want to see our brochure? Professor Najib is excited.
John told me earlier that he's moving out to California during the summer, so he won't be with us next year, unfortunately. We're going to lose his valuable services. Yeah. So he's moving out to California, and then another student who happens to be in the audience, I think, is going to be a foreign exchange student next year, so we're going to lose him for
Where are you
about a
going?
year.
Australia.
Australia.
We'll have to have him on the show maybe Well, I won't be here to interview him. But,
So, you know, we got.
are you going to be a senior next year? Yeah. So that'll be your last year of high school. Is going to be in Australia.
He's going to come back
with the kangaroos.
So he wanted to take one of our cameras down there and shoot a bunch of footage, but Chrome would probably be impossible.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to do away with the camera for that long.
Yeah, a year's a long time. So, but yeah, the students all, you know, they, you know, I got a couple of students that can't, you know, they come in almost any free time they have into the.
So they're really, a lot of them are really dedicated to.
There's a couple of, you know, John's dedicated. Another student is really dedicated. He really catches on real quick, and you know, they come in like during their homeroom and during the study halls and stuff like that. You know, Tyler Richmond skips lunch to come, you know, but then again, I don't blame him. So. But,
I'd skip classes if I were you. What are you doing skipping lunch? It's the only thing I go to.
I don't want to do that.
Vera wasn't in the audience.
I never take students out of class to a project.
I was just joking.
One policy, I mean, you know, I have policies, you know, if they get an F in the course, they're out of the club for a certain amount of time until they bring that grade back up.
So that's just kind of like a sport, then eligibility sheets, something like that, you won't let them participate.
You know, it's with any kind of club, you know, that it has to do, you know, Channel 5.
Schoolwork comes first.
The Channel 5 club at East Peoria High School is not exactly officially a sanctioned club. It's just,
well, you want to start one, though, don't you? Don't you want to start a AV club down there?
Well,
Isn't that what
not really, because, well, the AV director down there, Dave Kemper, you know, he took over for Jim Scrine. You know, from what I understand, you know, he's had, you know, not as much knowledge about production, you know, television production. That's not one of his strong points, and so I think he does. You know, he does have some students working with him in, you know, AV and stuff like that. But you know, the TV club, you know, alone will, I think, will grab interest. And we got a lot of interest from students when we wanted them to come in and help us produce our new show called East Side Alive, which we finally got on the air last Thursday. Finally, after weeks of.
Now, isn't that a show that's somewhat similar to this one?
No, not really. It's a little bit more. It's not. It's not. Your show is.
No, that's just what I heard.
Well, it's not. It's not. It has a little bit more variety to it because we go on location. No, that's true. It's true.
There's going to be snipers out in the parking lot.
I'm not.
No, I'm just.
See, everybody, you know, I consider WCHS Today the most popular show that's on Channel 5 right now.
Sorry about everything I said. No.
Okay.
No, yeah.
But the thing is, you know, it's popular. You know, right now, you know, it's popular in Washington. Now, it could be popular in East Peoria, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
But you know,
a lot of it's Washington.
Everybody has his own type of programs that he watches. You know, any show can be really popular.
Sure.
Okay. Now, the show East Side Alive that we're doing, you know, it features two people who are very well known with Channel 5, Steve Blunt and John Shadle.
Right, they worked on.
They were Kirk's Kitchen, which was canceled a while back. So, you know, we brought them back, you know, and you know, they host it, and what we do is we have an interview with, and this is how we get the students involved. You know, we have an interview with a high school organization, we have an interview with a community organization, we have some kind of entertainment by a high school group or singer or whatever. You know, the first show we have breakdancers, and then we have then John and Steve have their like a 5-minute satire segment or, you know, comedy segment, 5 minutes or so. And then we have like man on the street interviews, and then we also have high school and community calendar.
You do Mr. Curious?
Mr. Curious.
David Letterman.
David Letterman. No, nothing like that. No. Well, we planned to do. We didn't do the man on the street interviews for the first show, but we planning on doing it for like the second show. Now that second show we started out wanting to do it every week, but you know, because of the schedules and stuff like that are kind of hectic, and we're doing it every other week.
It takes a lot more time than most people realize to put together. You don't just walk in and do it in a half hour like it is on TV.
Well, we did the other day with this one show. Well, no, this is another new show. See, this is another good example of public access. The Chamber of Commerce down in East Peoria, the executive director Alice Toffanelli, she wanted to do some kind of program with Channel 5. Community oriented, and she wanted to host it herself, and you know, she told me what she wanted and what it was all about, and we set up a time to tape it, and we came in and taped it. And she had, you know, she had about three or four people from the community in there, and they talked about various topics. They talked about the East Peoria Festival with one guy, you know, that's going to come up in June, and they talked to another guy about economic development or the development of the city of East Peoria. You know, a guy who works with the city of East Peoria. And they had two women from ICC who talked about dislocated or unemployed workers and their benefits, you know, the type of programs that they are, you know, retraining, you know.
So you get all
And
kinds
so
of
it's,
things.
you know, it's a good program, community oriented. It's all done in studio, you know. So, but
Listen, I really hate to cut you off,
yeah, I
but
know,
we're
it's going forever.
it's getting hot under here, and we're sorry. Maybe
well, let me just make one final
yeah.
point. You know, public access can be as good as you make it.
because
and
made
if you're
by
interested, and like I said, Channel 5 right now, that's one goal that we're hoping to get towards, is eventually getting more funding, which is something that we don't have very much of, that we could use more of course, then who doesn't need more money?
Of course.
And of course, you know, we want to get a lot of people involved in television, and basically getting them involved in community and in communications. And if anybody out there wants to have more information on how they can get involved with Channel 5 as a volunteer basis, they can, you know, write us a letter at, you know, 1401 East Washington Street, or call us at the number that you'll be seeing right after this show is over. So, you know, everybody knows.
Wait, just a moment, Mr. Igner. We have a phone call.
That was fast.
Good evening, WCHS Today. John speaking.
Is this Don Becky?
Yeah.
This is the producer of at NBC, and I'd just like to say I've watched your show many times.
Oh, you do, huh?
You've got a fine show tonight. I like the guests.
Thank you.
And we want you to keep it up, okay? And
Thank
we're
you.
going to be sending some letters into your show and
Okay.
Channel 5 within the next couple days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, Mike.
How would you know?
Anyway, I really want to thank you for coming tonight. I'm sorry we didn't get more time. Maybe
That's all right.
would you possibly come back some
yes,
other time, and
definitely.
you can, because I know you're really interested.
Yeah.
Really interested in making.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we finish writing the book.
Yes.
No, I know you're really interested in making Channel 5 a lot better, and you can come back maybe and talk more about it. Thanks, John, for coming too. I know you didn't get to talk too much, but I know you're having fun down there too and learning a lot. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to be with us next week. Do we ever have a big guest next week? She's supposed to be here next week. Christine Zach is going to be with us
Good.
next week.
All right.
So good night, everybody.
Wait, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to encourage viewer mail. I mean, you guys are slacking off out there. I tell you what, send your letters to Washington Community High School in care of WCHS Today, Studio 1. We'd like to hear the letters come in, so let's get them going, okay?